Everybody, it's the Goal 60 coming at you week 1 college football 2017. So this is the first of 3 videos for this week's matchups. I'll go over a couple leans in this first video, and also I'm going to break down the West Virginia Tech game. So before I start on any of this, please keep in mind that all of this information I have compiled myself, and if you use it, feel free to do so, but please do it at your own risk. So these are all my opinions. Every video that I put out, every blog that I do on thegoal60.com is completely just my opinion and my take. Also, please remember to follow me at thegoal60 on Twitter, and be sure to comment and jump on those. What I'm going to try to do this season, and I've already done this week, is I put out 3 games a week on Twitter, and I'm hoping that folks will jump in and kind of give their take on the game each week, on each one of those, and just kind of discuss it and see how everybody feels about the game as a group. So with that said, I'll jump into some leans that I had for this week, but they didn't make the cut as official plays. The first one is a South Carolina-North Carolina State game. That game is going to be played in Charlotte, North Carolina. When I projected the score, I had North Carolina State winning this game by 1 point, and not a real high shootout, but I think it came out to like 28-27, somewhere in that neighborhood. Maybe a little bit higher, might have been 31-30 or something like that. So anyways, with it only being 1 point, right now the line is 5, so I would take South Carolina plus the 5. And also I would look at taking over 50. And then the third lean that I have is actually for tomorrow night, Thursday, August 31st, Indiana plus 21 against Ohio State. So Indiana at home getting 3 touchdowns against a team that they play very well every year. In fact, the last 6 years, they have been 6-0 against the spread when playing Ohio State. So I see that as that trend continuing, and also looking at the situation of the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. A lot of people are looking at him to come in, Kevin Wilson, and just really try to, have that revenge factor and score a ton of points. And I think he will for a while. But a lot of these guys in Indiana, almost all of them, were recruited by him, coached by him, and I really just don't see that he'll just keep the pedal down the entire game. I think that Indiana can at least hold them within those 3 touchdowns. And like I said, these are just leans and did not become an official play. But I just want to throw those out there in case you were looking at them or had an opinion on it. Either way. So we'll jump right into the first breakdown of this week. And again, this is video 1 of 3. The other 2 games that I'm going to break down are Cal, North Carolina, and also the Florida State-Alabama game. So for this video, West Virginia and Virginia Tech, the line currently is Virginia Tech -4. I've seen it as low as -3.5, all the way up to -5.5. So a couple points for each team. The first is this game is a neutral site game. It's played in Maryland, so it should be good for both fan bases to travel to. Not too far away from either one. Will Grier comes over to West Virginia from Florida. He started off the year last year doing very well, and then got suspended by the NCAA about halfway through the year, and ended up transferring to West Virginia. I think that this guy is super smart, super football smart, and has a lot of talent, and I think he's got something to prove. So I think it's going to be a pretty good year for him. Actually, I think West Virginia will do all right. I think that I don't think they're going to contend for the Big 12 championship, but I do think that they'll have a pretty solid year, may even disrupt a few things and upset somebody along the way. Virginia Tech is bringing a redshirt freshman starting quarterback to this game. They had a pretty good quarterback last year. He decided to go pro early, and so this year they got a redshirt freshman stepping in. And they have one thing that Virginia Tech has going for them is they have a very good coaching staff, a very solid coaching staff. These guys are, you got Bud Foster, who's been there since the beginning of Virginia Tech football and has been the defensive coordinator. I think he was probably at that Rutgers-Princeton game to start off the entire sport. But now he's at Virginia Tech and has been there for a very long time, very solid, and I think he'll be, the head coach is very good, Fuente, or I probably mispronounced that name, but he's going to be very good for a long time for Virginia Tech. It seems to be that if you get there, you stay for a while, and I think that with recruiting in Virginia and the surrounding areas, I think he's going to be there a long, long time. Both these teams lost a lot of starters last year. West Virginia returns 8 total, while Virginia Tech returns 12. And one thing I want to talk about is my projected stats. So I project stats for each team for rushing and passing, and that goes. I take stats for both teams, defensive and offense, in those categories. And one thing I do is I try to get rid of what I call garbage stats, which is things like if a quarterback rushes for 75 yards on a play, and that's the only rush he has all day is one time, 75 yards. To me, that's uncharacteristic to that team, and that data point needs to be thrown out. That's not going to happen every week. So I try to get rid of things like that and try to get better data for projecting these stats. Keep in mind that this is week 1. So any projected stats I have for any of these teams obviously is based off of last year and who they have coming back. So these things will continue to get more accurate as the season goes on, but this is just what I'm looking at coming into week 1. I have West Virginia rushing between 185 to 200 yards. I have them passing for 200 to 210, so really balanced attack. I have Virginia Tech rushing for 175 and passing for 220. So I think that this game is going to be close. Obviously, the line being close at between 3.5 to 5.5, somewhere in that area. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very good game to watch. This game is going to be played on Sunday, and I think it's going to be, like I said, a very good game to watch, a very good football game. One thing is I project, or actually a stat that I want to throw out, is that Virginia Tech, the last 24 games in September, over the last few years, the last 24 times they played in the month of September, against the spread, they're 7, 16, and 1. That's 30.4%. So obviously that's not good, not very good at all. So with that said, I projected the final score of this game to be 31 to 31. Now these days we have a 2-point conversion, so that will not happen. So obviously a tie means it go to overtime, and somebody's going to have to win eventually. What I'm getting at here is that I see this game being extremely close. So I'm thinking maybe a field goal will win it. And in that case, would you not, you would obviously go with West Virginia plus 4. Because a field goal would be 3 points. Boom, you cover, even if you only cover by 1. So the play for this, the very first play of the season for as far as these picks go, for the goal60.com, will be West Virginia plus the 4. If you get anywhere around that, great. I do think West Virginia will win the game outright. I don't think they'll blow the game away, obviously, nothing like that. So I would take West Virginia plus 4. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.